And I'm live, yeah, fixing my hair. Getting comfortable in my little seat here. My broken chair, actually, the back broke off of this chair a while ago. Yeah, that's just me. I actually found a chair down in the garbage room one day, and I almost hauled it back up here to my humble abode. I used to have a really nice chair when I was back in Indiana. One of these days, I will have a nice chair again. Like I need to do any more sitting than necessary. Oh, geez. Well, hold on. I'm letting someone know. I'm letting my one fan know. I have one fan who has been showing up to watch my videos, and I just messaged her and say, "Hey, I'm online. I'm online now." Yeah. Oh, didn't want to do that. There we go. Get rid of that. Welcome to my live stream. Anyway, I'm a rambling mess already, and we're only a minute and 15 seconds into the broadcast. So here you are. Boy, is it cloudy, and was it nasty looking yesterday. We actually had a bit of a heat wave come through here yesterday. I think it got up to like about 50 yesterday. Seriously. And before that, we had like 2 days of continuous rain. That is no BS. It just rained for like 2 days straight. Wednesday and Thursday were just like horrible. Really. And now I'm trying to check the weather, and it's not coming up. Of course not. Because I should have checked this again before I got online. Right now, it's going to get up to 48 today. In fact, it's going to be in the 40s all the way out through the week. And Friday, it's going to be almost 60 and raining. Yeah, we're not going to hit 30s again. We get down to 39 on the 31st, last day of the year. That's the 10-day forecast. It's going to be in the 40s all the way through and almost 60 before we decide to say goodbye to 2018, which can't come soon enough for me. I will fucking tell you. So, this begins. Today actually really begins the beginning of the long holiday, really a long holiday weekend. People who are working and who are able to get the time off, because we do know that not everybody gets the holidays off. Well, they're basically going to be off for the next 4 days. Yeah. And the week after that will be a little weird because New Year's Eve falls on a Monday, but a lot of people will just take a vacation day or personal holiday for that day. I mean, that was something that used to happen when I worked in state. Or a lot of places will work like half day and then they'll send everybody home. That also used to happen when I was in state. They'd usually send you home like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 1 o'clock, some shit like that. I think the requirement was you had to work 6 hours before you could go home. And since I was always in the office by 7:30 in the morning, I was usually heading out the door between 1 and 1:30. Which means the next 2 weeks are going to be this period where the majority of the work is all going to take place on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And when you come back from a 4-day holiday, you don't feel like doing shit. So that Wednesday after Christmas and after New Year's Day, nobody's going to do anything worthwhile. So that means really all the work that's getting done is going to be done on Thursday and Friday. And you're not really doing a hell of a lot of work because especially the week after Christmas, those 3 days after Christmas, most people are just kind of like sitting around scratching their ass because a lot of people will have just taken that entire week off. If you've got 3 days of vacation saved up somewhere along the line, you're just going to take it. I did that one year. I saved up like a buttload of vacation, and I had like 5 days I had to take at the end of the year. So I took it all during that holiday, and that was a big mistake because that was right after my first divorce, and I got real depressed. No, not me. I got real depressed, and I pretty much stayed drunk that entire time. Yeah, it was a nightmare, and I swore to myself that I would never do that again. Seriously, I did. I was just like, don't ever do this again. You were so maudlin. You were in such bad shape mentally. Don't ever do this again. It's not good for you. And I didn't. I have never done that again. I will actually work through the holidays. I tend to know a lot of people, especially those who had families, wanted a time off, and I'll be like, "Hey, I'm working. Don't worry about it. I got you covered." So yeah, I don't like take off stupendous amounts of time at Christmas and New Year's anymore. Well, I am this year. Yeah, coming up on 1 year that since I last worked. I haven't heard anything on the job agents front. I did find out that one of my applications was submitted for a analyst position with the Department of Corrections here in Pennsylvania. Yeah, that should be interesting. I'll probably hear some stuff after the first of the year because I've actually been sending out a lot of applications. And again, right now. I just decided, I'm trying to avoid. I'm actually trying to avoid IT work. So I'm looking at anything that's going to pay like $45,000, something like that. And I applied for a couple of government jobs like that. Just said, pay is like 41 to 53,000. I was like, sold. I'll take it. Give it to me. One job is actually a government job where you're more or less kind of kept on retainer in case there are incidences relating to national disasters. And it actually is with FEMA. So it's like you get a 120-day contract and then they decide to renew it. So, it's one of those things where you could be out like shoveling snow or something like that. So we'll see what happens. I looked at that and I was like, yeah, that'd be interesting. That's 4 months. You're on retainer with the U.S. government at $15 an hour for 4 months, which means basically you're getting a paycheck for 4 months for just waiting for bad shit to happen. Now, bad shit could include the zombie apocalypse, in which case I'm on the front line. But I think I know how to handle the zombie apocalypse. Yeah, right. I'd be one of those people running, just put the gun in your mouth. Get it over with now. Yeah, I remember somebody was saying, like everybody now thinks because they watched The Walking Dead and all these other shows on zombies, they all know what would happen if the zombie apocalypse broke out. And the truth is, no, you don't. You have no fucking idea what you'd do. You would probably end up becoming a zombie chow. Which is why I'm saying best thing to do, just park a bullet in your brain now and get it over with so you could avoid the rush later. Yeah, so I'm hoping I'm hoping to hear a few things. I was looking over my finances yesterday, and I'm pretty certain I can make it until the end of January without a problem. It's that after January thing that's making me a bit nervous. I will find something. January, there will probably be a lot of things popping up. Hell, I might even hear something this week. You never know. But yeah, been off coming up on a year since the last time I've actually stepped into a place of employment. It's getting weird. Yeah. I will survive. I have so far made it. Next week, I think it'll be my last video of 2018 next week, and I think I'm going to call it Death Watch. Really, I've had it. 2018 has. I thought 2016 and 2017 were, especially the end of 2016, were bad years, and I thought 2017 was a bad year. 2018 has just beat my ass like a rented mule. I swear, it has sucked the life out of me. I have been through more shit this year than I have in so many other years. I'm just like over it. 2019, really, my wig is bothering me. You can tell. But 2019 has got to be better than this shit. Seriously. It just 18, this has been the worst year I've been through. And when you're in your 60s, you don't want to have to sit there and go, this is the worst year I've ever had in my life. Jesus. Writing. I haven't actually done, well, it's weird. I have done some writing and I haven't. I actually went back over my last mermaid story and really did a good edit on it. And I know a lot of you are going, well, so what? But yeah, I actually went through and did a great edit on it. And that was it. It took me like 3 days to do it. Because it was just basically kind of bored as shit. And I thought, go edit that story. And I did. And I did, like I said, I did a good job. Still have this thing like, I actually know somebody who could put a cover together for me. I may speak with them and ask them if they can put a cover together for me. Or Ash, I hope so. And then throw it out there on Amazon. Maybe on New Year's Day. Mermaid story for New Year's Day. I need to publish something. That will have been almost 6.5 years. If I publish something on New Year's Day, 2019, it will have been about 6.5 years since the last time I published something. I really need to. I need to stop calling myself an author if I'm not publishing, especially if I'm not writing. I wrote a couple of things for the Snarking Dead. I've actually been writing a couple of things for them. And for them. It's just me and Rachel. Them. Who's them? But the last couple of days, I started working out a couple of scenes for the novels. Yeah. I mean, when I mean working out a couple of scenes, you know how I work. I internalize and think all this stuff out. And one of the things I've been working on, kind of off and on for the last month or so, is what sort of stuff do we need to worry about in terms of Annie and Carrie's mental health? I mean, seriously, you think about the sort of job they want to go into, you think about the sort of shit they've already done. You know, and you could probably imagine some of the stuff that's going to happen to them in the future. So what ends up happening is, well, they're going to have to get mental health screening on a fairly regular basis, you know, because there's only so many times you can have people wanting to kill you before the stress really begins getting to you. I mean, Annie's already killed a person, two people, and not Annie, but Carrie more or less gave an assist on that second person, but you know, we really don't. It was Annie who did the killing. Carrie just added in kind of the coup de grace there at the end. But he was dead, you know, and he killed two people. Carrie's killed a person. Carrie's survived death 3 times now. You know, I mean, he almost fell out of the sky and died. He had saved a person from being killed from an abomination, and then he was almost killed by a deconstructor. You know, it's like, and all that happened when he was 11 years old. You know, they've learned puppet training and they've had to fight off zombies, homunculized zombies. You know, you let this go on and you keep amping up the, you know, you keep amping shit up. And at some point, these kids are going to be like on the verge of nervous breakdowns. I mean, they really will be. They'll be on the verge of nervous breakdowns because there's only so much stress you can take before you start breaking. And so that was one of the things I was going over is at what point will Coraline and Erwin and Deanna step in and approach Helena and say, hey, look, you know, I realize that all the shit these two kids are doing is classified, but we're beginning to notice, you know, things about them that indicate to us as trained counselors and especially to Coraline, who's also a trained medical professional, that there's some shit starting to happen and we need to treat it. But we can't do that if we don't know what's going on with them. You know, if we can't see the shit that they've done out in the field, if we can't see everything in their file, not just this redacted crap. Well, Annie and Carrie, and then the next page is like completely blanked out. It doesn't tell you anything. So yeah, they're going to have to approach Helena at some point as the Guardian rep and say, look, we need access to their full files, not just their medical files, which Coraline has actually seen, because when they came back, she even made the comment that she saw that the transfer was they were coming from Atlanta. So she knew where they were coming from, and that they had various broken bones and concussions and stuff like that. But there was no mention of how any of that shit came to be. You know, it's just like, here's our medical charts. You know, how'd this happen? Well, that's classified. We can't tell you. So, you know, and that would actually be the thing. It would be like, it's classified. We can't tell you. Again. Well, how did Annie break her arm? We can't tell you. Well, how did Carrie get an electrical shock? We can't tell you. It's classified. How did Annie get a concussion? Classified. How'd they break their legs? Classified. You guys ain't making it easy for me. It's sort of like at this point, they're just telling the doctors, treat the symptoms. They got a broken leg, treat the broken leg. You don't need to know how they got the broken leg. Just treat the broken leg. Okay, so that's going to happen. And like I said, I've had to work that out. I've had to work it out quite a lot, actually. It's something that is going to come up. I won't tell you which novel, but it will come up. There's something important I want to talk about. I haven't gotten there yet. So I will get there. It's coming. Let's see. Work, writing. Oh, Derby. Derby. Yeah. Roller derby. I guess you could say this has been the best of weeks. This has been the worst of weeks. We're in the final stretch. We have one more day of practice, Sunday, tomorrow, before we get into our Tier 2 testing. And as I've said, I don't think I'm going to have an issue testing out of Tier 2. No, I don't. I mean, not all the shit I'm going to do is perfect. Some of it, like I said, I think there's going to be a couple of things I'm probably going to be like right on a 2 on. And I know what I need to work on real bad. But at the same time, I know there's a few things I'm actually, I'm probably going to score like 3s all the way down the line. 3s, I'll probably get a couple of 4s. I don't anticipate not getting a 4. I'll get a couple of 4s, but I'm pretty much thinking I'm going to score 3s and 2s most of the way down the line. I think most of us are. I don't know. I can't speak for the others. I'm not going to. I'm going to speak for myself. And I think most of my work will be it'll be mostly 3s. I'll have some 4s. Probably, like I said, I'll probably have a couple of 2s. We have 3 days of practice to actually work on those 2s and bring them up to 3s. So there we go. But I don't anticipate not passing out of Tier 3. I mean, Tier 2. I haven't gotten to Tier 3 yet. So for a couple of practices, we didn't do any cardio. We just did hitting. It's like we need to work on hitting. And we did. We hit. Boy, did we. We hit a lot. And I will say this, learning how to hit the correct way is a hell of a lot better than learning how to hit the incorrect way. And I won't say that the way I used to hit before I went to DDR was incorrect, but I'll tell you what, I did a lot of shoulder hits. I did a lot of shoulder hits where I'd come in and I would hit basically with this part of my body. And my shoulders, I'd come home some night and they would literally be on fire from hitting. It was just like, oh my God, it hurt. It was just like, ugh. Now we're learning more how to get our whole body in, like here, by bringing your arm across and grabbing on so that you don't get that elbow in the way. And I'm learning more how to get in and do hip checks, which I've always had a problem with, but I'm learning now how it's necessary for me to actually get really low and like pop my hip in on somebody. And while you get sore, and a lot of it's more soreness in the legs now, because that's where you're really using all your power is in your legs. I'm not finding as much upper body soreness as I used to have. especially even doing a full body blast, because I'm getting my hip and my entire side in on the hit. So energy is dispersing. That's the thing. Think of it like a massive blast versus a shape charge. If you're doing a shoulder hit and I'm hitting with just this part of my body, all the energy is going right in there. So it's a massive concentration of kinetic energy. And it's going to produce a lot of soreness because you're just putting that impact point right here. It's like a shape charge. Boom. Whereas when we're doing like a full body hit or even a hip check, we're getting more of our body in, especially on our hips, because, you have a little bit more flesh down there to spread out. And then when you're spreading on a full body hit, when you're spreading everything from your hips all the way up to right here, you're spreading out that impact energy over a wide area. So it's not as traumatic a blast as it would be if you were going in with just your shoulder. And when I've been coming back from hitting practices, my thighs, especially my inner parts, are actually more sore than my areas where I've actually been hitting with my body, because I'm really working the shit out of the muscles in my thighs. But I'm spreading out that impact energy all along the side of my body so that, it's not as violent. And so, yeah, I'm still getting some soreness in various parts of my body, but not as bad as I used to. At my age, I don't need to wake up in the morning and go, ow. I do anyway. There was one practice. Oh, Christ. It was probably the other night. There was one practice where I woke up. I was sore all over. I mean, it really was. And it was a hard practice. And we had, the last practice I had, we had cardio. And I actually fell during my 27.5. I did. I wiped out. It's something that I have not done. Jesus, probably in about a year. And I was right around 17.8. I was at, I think, 17 laps. I had 10 laps to go and I wiped out, which was really discouraging because I went down. And that's the thing. I don't even remember. I know my foot slipped out from underneath me, but I don't remember the impact. I just, like, 1 minute I'm skating into the turn as hard as I can, and the next minute I'm on the ground. And it stunned me. I mean, I hit it and I was like, it stunned me, and I didn't get off the track right away. And the coach actually said, you need to get off the track. Either get up or get off the track. And there's a reason for that. She even came up to me and she says, like, I wasn't trying to be a hard ass about it. And I was like, no, I understand. I need to get off the track. And I've got like 3 seconds to either get up or get off the track. I understand that. And I mentioned to one of my teammates, I said, you have to do that. If you're laying on the track for more than 4 seconds, the refs will blow the jam dead. They'll think that you're injured and they'll blow the jam dead. If you're on the track, and you don't want that to happen, because if they blow the jam dead because you're on the track, you can't come in for a minimum of 3 jams. Yeah. So, like, if you're the blocker or pivot or even the jammer, somebody like that, and you go down like that and you don't get back up, it's like, okay, for the next 3 jams, you can't come in because we have to assume you were injured when you went down. Now, the catch-22 on that is, if you can roll yourself off the track in that time, it doesn't count. Really, it doesn't. If you, like, go down hard, I mean, you, like, stun yourself and you go down hard, but you're, like, right on either lane 4 on the outside or lane 1 on the inside, the best thing to do is just, like, boom, roll yourself off the track as quickly as you can, because then they can't blow the jam dead. And then you can spend your time going, I'm getting up. I'm a little dizzy, but I'm getting up. There was, I don't remember. I know the story. I don't know the bout, and I don't know exactly what had happened. I think it happened during one of the playoffs leading up to champs one year. But there was actually a player on a team who went down and she broke her leg. And she dragged herself off the track so that the refs would not blow the jam dead. And she sat on the edge of the track with a broken leg. She got out of the way of the refs and everything else, but she sat there with a broken leg until they blew the jam dead, until the jam ended, because she didn't want them to blow the jam dead because her team needed points. So with a broken leg, she dragged herself off the track and stayed off the track until the jam ended. And it was like, I got a broken leg. I can't do anything. I got a broken leg. Yeah. That's how you have to do it. So I told the ref, I said, I told my coach, I said, no, I know exactly why you were yelling at me. And I said, I should have gotten up. I've done that before. I should have either gotten up or got off the track. And I apologize for that. That won't happen again. I ended up with 23 laps, but I was on pace for like 26 easily. But we were so tired that night. I was timing the other woman who has 27, gotten her 27.5 as well, and even she was like, "Oh my god, I'm so tired." But she got over 26 laps. She was like, "I'll take it." I was the same way. I was just like, if I can get 26 laps, I'll be happy, And I was on pace to get 26. I was pretty certain. I think I was actually at like right around 14 laps when they hit mid-time, because when I went down, I saw how much time was left. And they said it was really like about 2 minutes was left. And I was like, shit, I was coming up on 17 laps. I was actually coming up on 18 laps at that time. So I was actually going pretty fast. I was pretty certain I'd be on pace for like, I would have been on pace for 26 laps. So, which is one of the things I found out, it's like we were talking about, well, once you get out of tier 2, you're in tier 3 and you're working with the vets. And one of our refs, one of our coaches said, but you only have 3 things you have to do for tier 3. And I was like, oh, shit. I was like, so what are those 3 things we have to do for tier 3? And she was like, cone weaving. We have to weave through like 50 feet of cones in 6 seconds or less. Then we have to do 1 lap of the track in 13 seconds or less. Although she was saying something like maybe they're going to change the rules. We'll have to do it in under 11. I can do 11.3. I've done 11.31 is my fastest, but I was like, holy shit, where am I going to get that 0.3 of a second? Because I haven't done under 11 yet. So that's my next goal, is trying to get down into the 10s. I hope not. I hope this is like, I can do 13 seconds without a problem. Don't change it on me. Please don't change it on me. And then we have to do our 27.5. And when I talked to the other woman, I said, you do know we got to do 27.5 again. And she's like, yeah. And she's like me. She's like, I just want to keep doing them so that it becomes normal. And I said, I'm the same way. I want to get, I want 26.5 to be like my low. And I said, I'm shooting for 28. I really would like to get 28 laps. So we're already at that point where we're like 27, fuck it. Let's shoot for, 28 each time so that, you're going to get your 27.5. So I really do kind of hope that both of us are doing our 27.5s at the same time. And it's just going to be like, I'll chase you and I'll push you. And we just get them out of the way right away. And we were actually doing 50 feet of cone weaving, which had like this tricky turn in it. And I had 3 instances where I did it under 6 seconds. In fact, I was the fastest. Me and another woman, I had 5:31, she had 5:32. That was our fastest. I also had, what was it, 570. I had 573 and 538. So, yeah. So, yeah, I'm not worried about the cone weaving. I've actually been pretty good with cone weaving. It's probably going to take me a couple of tries to get my rhythm down and to figure out the best way through. But once I do, it's going to be like, zip, 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 zip. I'm just going to get it out of the way. The 27.5, like I said, I don't have the fear of it like I used to. I've done it. That's the thing. Now that you've done it, you're sort of like, well, I can do this again. And 26 and a half laps. I actually won the last practice we did one night. We actually had a practice, and I mentioned this in the last video, where I did 26 and a half laps, and I was kind of beating myself up because I knew I could have got 27, and I did 26 and a half at the end of the practice. So it's sort of like, yeah, 26 and a half has become my low point, and I don't want to go below that. So, but yeah, testing coming up. One more practice before testing. I'm certain we're going to do a lot of hitting. I am really kind of tired. I even mentioned that. The last practice, I did not hydrate well. Oh, no, I know. I did not hydrate well, and I paid for it. You can actually tell when your hydration is off and you're not eating right, because we were doing a recovery exercise where you go down on both knees and then you get back up in like 4 seconds, and then you take, take off again. And about midway through, I started getting lightheaded, and I actually was like, I had to like slow up on the track because I was having trouble. And I always have this trouble. When you're going down on your knees and coming back up constantly, it is the one thing. I mean, I have a lot of leg strength, but I don't know what it is. Whenever I'm doing that, it just takes a hell of a lot out of me. It really does. And I've always been like that. Whenever we've been doing like a lot of knee taps and stuff like that, it always takes a lot out of me. But I remarked that I haven't really been keeping up with my hydration, and it was like fairly obvious that I was suffering a bit from lack of proper hydration. Yesterday, I actually drank 80 ounces of water throughout the day, started at about 9 in the morning and went on until about 5 in the afternoon. I drank 80 ounces of water and did not have to pee that much. That's an indication right there that you're kind of dehydrated. When you drink 80 ounces of water, and 80 ounces of water is like, it's like 1.75 liters. It's like almost drinking a 2-liter bottle of pop. And you don't have to pee that much. That's an indication you got yourself dehydrated. Then don't do that again. Because the one thing I'm learning, especially with training down at DDR, is that, man, we have to hydrate like a son of a bitch. And I think it's because I'm really kind of pushing myself a lot harder than I used to. So it's all about eating a lot of the right stuff, a lot of protein, a lot of carbs, and staying hydrated. So yesterday, that's basically what I did. I just drank, like I said, I drank 80 ounces of water. I probably drank closer to 90, maybe even close to 100 before the day was all out. And I ate like a big pot of leftover spaghetti that I'd made. Yeah, I mean, I just like sucked it all down. And that's one of the things that really, when you're in Derby, because you're going to need it, especially during a hard practice. So, yeah, with everything coming up, I'm going to be doing like drinking a lot of water. I mean, when we start each of our practices, I'm going to make certain I get like 80 ounces of water out of the way before I go to practice. And that was something that our coach drilled into us when we started top class, was you need to get your hydration in before you come to class. And a couple of times when I haven't, I've paid for it. I mean, I know whenever I start getting, whenever I really start getting lightheaded and tired and whatnot, I'm playing with my wigs, sorry. Whenever I start getting really lightheaded and tired, it's because I didn't eat right and I probably didn't hydrate right. And with it cooling off, you kind of get out of the whole, well, it's not 90 degrees inside the Dutch oven today, so I don't have to drink as much water. But we're doing a lot of stuff that's far more physical than we did in the past, which means you're upping your intensity, which means you're burning more energy that you have stored inside your body. Well, if you haven't nourished that body properly, yeah. Something I learned from when I used to teach aerobics. Yes, I was an aerobics instructor at one point. You need to fuel your body, and you do that by making certain that you have the right amount of triglycerides in your system, which comes through hydration. And what it is the triglycerides breaks down the fat in your muscle. It breaks down fat to produce energy. And it's done through the use of released sugars and so forth and so on. So that's one of the reasons why they say you need to stay hydrated, because that allows your muscles to stay hydrated, and your muscles are where all this energy breakdown is taking place. So the larger muscle groups are taking fat and they're burning it with the help of triglycerides, and it's producing sugars, which then become energy. And in Derby, we need that. We need a lot of that, because so much of what we do is like this intensive, skating and hitting. We were actually doing one drill where we had to stand there and block our teammates coming towards us and, hitting them out and stuff like that. And it was just constant. You had to do it like a couple of times, one from each side. And when I got done, one of my teammates was kind of like huffing and puffing. I said, yeah, that shit is exhausting. You don't think it's going to be, but it is kind of exhausting to just stand there and be hitting people out as they're coming at you. And I said, it's because you're standing there trying not to fall on your ass when you hit somebody. And then you're delivering a hit to them. And I said, you're popping a little bit of energy in there each time. And it does get tiring. This is what comes of training to be an athlete, which is something I thought I'd never do. I never thought I'd be an athlete. And I keep forgetting things, like treat your body well and stuff like that. So it's different. If I was about half my age, say I was like in my late 20s, early 30s, I probably would be abusing my body a lot more than I do today. But I would bounce back from it. But this week was really the first week where I was like, oh man, I really could use a day off. I really could skip a practice. I mean, I really have. This week, I kind of, on at least one occasion, went, oh man, I wish I didn't have to go to practice. Because I'm feeling it. Yesterday, man, I just vegged. I did nothing. I just laid around and drank water and ate. That was it. And I'm probably going to do a lot of that today. I've still got a lot of leftovers for dinner. And I'm probably going to make chili this afternoon. So I'll have that. And the next practice I have, which I'm sure you can guess, is tomorrow, will be practice number 32. Yes, and 32 practices makes us an official member of DDR. And I've already talked about this. Yeah, I've had my coach contact me and say, "Do you have your Derby name and number picked out and all this other stuff?" And I'm like, "Yes, it's already registered with WFDA, and I've re-upped my insurance and everything else." So 32 tomorrow. And I plan on getting a celebratory dessert crepe before I leave Rachel's tomorrow, so that when I come home, probably tomorrow night, I will indulge in the celebratory dessert crepe to celebrate the fact that I am now an official. I have to complete practice, and I have to make. But yes, after tomorrow, if I complete the practice, I will be a official member of DDR. So I'm really looking forward to that. And after tier 3, I'll move up and be hitting the vets, and they'll be hitting me. And a couple of the vets have already told me they find it hard to get me out or get me down, which I'm like, yeah. I like that. I actually had one of my teammates when we were doing hitting drill. She hit me, and she was like, "God, hitting you is like hitting a wall." I will say that about me. If I have my stance down and I'm ready for the hit, you got to work it. I'm the same way. I mean, I do have a lot of power in my legs, and if I'm ready for a hit, if I'm not getting suckered, the last time I played Blood and Thunder, the person who got me out, she actually came in from behind. They didn't call her on a back block. It was basically, she got me, it was legal. I mean, it was like legal probably about that much. But she came up from behind me. I was sizing someone else up for a hit, and I wasn't paying attention. And she came up from behind me and clocked me. And I was pissed off about that. I was pissed off more about the fact that I thought it was a back block. But that's beside the point. Nobody called back block, so I'm just going to let it go. But yeah, you have to be track aware, because if I don't see the hit coming, anybody's like that. If you don't see the hit coming, you're probably going to get taken out. If you're ready for it, it's not that bad. But yeah, I was actually engaging a couple of the vets in our last few hitting drills. And at one point, me and another vet were just kind of like at a standoff. We're going, pushing at each other, just kind of like at a standoff, and let it go. But I feel kind of good about that. I'm looking forward to getting in with the vets, because I know there's probably going to be like, Cassidy's really hard to get down. Let's do our best to get her down. Yeah, Cassidy's kind of hard to get down, so why don't we do our best to get her down? And I've been told there are some really hard hitters in the vets. Not that the vets that have been hitting us haven't been hitting us hard, but even when the vets say, "Oh yeah, these players, when they hit you, you're going to go flying about 20 feet." She hit me, and I went like 20 feet off the track, and it's like, oh my God, here comes the pain. Yeah, it will be like that. It's like, you're going to get hit by a vet. When vets are telling you that there are other vets that hit them so hard they go flying like, 20 feet. Yeah, that's something to look forward to. But the goal still is by the end of January, I'll be bout certified. That's really what I'm looking for. By the end of January, I'll be bout certified. And then maybe I'll take some time off. There'll probably be like a couple of weeks in a row where I'll skip a practice just so I can rest up. Because I'll need it. By that time, I'll need it. So, one last thing. I know I've been rambling on for about 50 minutes here, but something actually happened to me. I have to check my phone. I have to check. You never know. Oh, somebody left me voicemail. Somebody wants money. As you know, there's a place I go to have breakfast every morning before practice on Sundays. And as I mentioned, there was someone who one weekend actually bought me breakfast. And I think, like I said, I know who it is. I don't think I know who it is. And she's rather nice. She's the one that I'm usually the first one in the door, and they always set me in her area. And she's kind of like, why aren't you sitting her over here? And the one day I came in, she said the people were in the back was like, your appointment's here. So we were talking last Sunday and we were having a good time. And I told her, I got my 27.5, that I was down to my last 3 practices before I was officially on the team. And I told her, I'm going to celebrate I'm going to get a dessert crate and take it home and stuff like that. And then there was this toward the end, I was sitting there drinking, having my coffee, having my water, and we're talking a little bit. And I said, okay, this may seem a little weird, and this may seem a little inappropriate, and if it is, please tell me. But would you like to go out some night and just do something? You have to keep in mind, I have not asked anybody out in well over 20 years. So I was really, really nervous. And she said, yeah, I'd like to do that. I could almost tell she knew what I was going to say because she was standing there looking at me, and looking at her face when I think back about it, I could kind of tell that she sort of knew what I was going to ask. And she said yes. Now, the thing is, I gave her my phone number. I said, okay. And I said, we don't have to think of this as a date. Think of this as I really want to get to know you, sort of time together. And she was like, oh, yeah, that's good. I gave her my phone number, and I said, please text me and let me know when you're available. And she said she was going to text me after work, but I never heard anything from her. So I don't know. It could be possible that she lost my phone number, which is possible. It could be that she didn't get the right phone number, and she's wondering what the hell happened. That's what I'm hoping, because I'm going back there tomorrow and I'll see her. And I'm hoping it's one of those 2 instances and not, look, I changed my mind at the last minute. But I happen to think that if it was a case of she changed her mind and decided she didn't want to go out, she would have texted me and say, hey, look, I've thought about this and I've decided, no, I don't really want to do this. At which point I would have said, okay, no problem. Thank you. And don't worry about it. Everything's cool. I decided to take my shot and see what happened. So I'm kind of hoping it's one of the first 2 things, that either she lost the phone number or she texted and it bounced back and said, hey, this number doesn't exist. And if that's the case tomorrow when I see her, if that's the case, I tried to text you, but nothing went through. I'm just going to hand her my phone and look, oh, okay, here's your contact information. Put your phone in. I'll send you a text message. You let me know if you got it, and then we can start texting back and forth. And all you got to do is say when it's time, I want you to delete my phone number. I'll delete your phone number. It's not that big of a deal. We'll see where it goes. So yeah, after years and years and years of inactivity, I actually asked somebody out. And a lot of people on my Facebook page were like super happy about it. I actually had one of my teammates who I sold a set of wheels to. She gave me a $25 gift card. And she said it with the comment. She goes, well, you can spend it at that place where, your new girlfriend is. I was like, she's not my girlfriend. So we haven't even went out. I said, all I did was I asked her out. I go, we haven't actually went out. She's not my girlfriend. Don't say that. She's not my girlfriend. So, yeah, there we go. So I asked somebody out. Boy. I really hope when I see her tomorrow, it's a case of I lost your phone number or I tried it and nothing went through and I haven't heard from you. In which case it'll be like, here's my phone. Here, just put your phone number in here where the contact information is, and I'm going to send you a text message. And that way we can connect and get this going. And by the way, I have no family, so I'm not doing anything for Christmas. Yeah, I'm not doing anything. I'm doing nothing for Christmas. I look like a rocket there. That would be a good time to get together and have coffee and maybe a few pastries and just talk. That's all I really want to do is I want to get to know her and see if maybe something's going to happen. So I'm probably way too old for her to begin with. Yeah, I'm probably easily twice her age, so. Which is, I hope she doesn't get freaked out by that. And if she does, it's like I said, look, I'll understand. But see, that's part of the problem. I don't act like I'm 60 years old. I'm 61 going on 62. I don't act that age. I see other people who are 61 who look like they're ready to pack it in. And here I'm doing derby. I'm like, okay, am I going to be able to play, in February? That's my concern. Am I going to be able to play in February? Whereas I see other people at the age of 61, it's just like, I want to go home and rest. I want to go home and rest too, but I also want to do all this other stuff. So I don't act like I'm that old. And I think that throws a lot of people off. And I've actually had people tell me before, they think I'm like in my late 30s or early 40s. And I'll tell them, no, in my 60s. And they're like, holy shit, there's no way you could be 60. I think the best one was last year, 2017. I have to make that point because pretty soon we'll be going last year and we'll mean 2018. But I was at an after party and I was sitting with a couple of reps after a bout at York. And I told them I was 60 years old. And they both just looked at me and they're like, no, that's impossible. And I was like, no, I'm 60 years old. And they go, no, you can't be. I had to actually show them my driver's license. I said, here's my license. Take a look. And they were both looking at it. They're like, yeah, you're 60. They actually did not believe me. They were like, you can't be 60. And I was like, yeah, I can be. So I've gotten that reaction from a lot of people who don't think, they think I'm like 20 years younger than I really am. So that's good. That's a good thing. A lot of people say the mind is willing, but the body isn't. Sometimes you just got to work on that body to get it to the point where it is. And, it was kind of crazy that I decided to go out for derby when I was 60 years old. But one of my quotes, one of the big things I always want to do, the first opportunity I get a chance to be in a jersey at a legitimate bout. I want to get a picture of me in my full gear, my bout gear, right before I get ready to go out and play. And I'm going to put it up on my Facebook wall with the quote from Colin Kirkpatrick. Don't ask if your dreams are crazy. Ask if they're crazy enough. That really right there. And I know he didn't write it. I mean, it was for the Nike ad. But it really is true. Don't sit there and go, this is crazy. Sit there and think, is it crazy enough? How much crazier can I make this? And of course, my craziness is, as a derby player, I want to play pivot, which means you have to be both a blocker and a jammer, which means I have to push myself to get to that point. That's the crazy. Someone my age would probably be really satisfied being a blocker and nothing else. And I'm like, no, I want to take it to the next level. I would like to be a pivot. I would like to be that person. At least for a few years, just to say I can do it. Now, don't ask if your dreams are crazy. Ask if they're crazy enough. My dreams are pretty crazy. I haven't quite got there yet, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there more and more every day, and that's what I hope for. So happy holidays. Yes, happy holidays, because I know I have people who are watching this who are not celebrating Christmas. They're celebrating one of a variety of 50 or 60 holidays that actually happened during this period, so happy holidays. And I'll see you next week. And next week will be the last video of 2018. And boy, am I looking forward to that shit. Next video will be Death Watch 2018. It will be. And boy, do I want it over. Okay, take care. Bye.